Hi, it's me, Wyatt, the boy,
And me, Clem, the lobster.
and you're listening to The Lobster and His Boy, in which we're rereading the Chronicles of Narnia in publication order. In this episode, we will be discussing part 1 of our penultimate book, The Magician's Nephew. It was published in 1955, but he actually completed it in February of 54. So he was actually getting a little bit ahead of himself. This was the last book that he finished, interestingly enough, because he was so far ahead of his publishing timeline. He probably thought of this story while writing The Last Battle, the last book, but it might not have fit. And so he ended up publishing this one first.
While I was tucking into The Magician's Nephew for probably the 8th time.
Since we started this.
Even before, fun fact, I think I read this book twice before we were planning on doing this podcast, and then a year went by, and then I read it again thinking we were going to start with The Magician's Nephew, which then we decided to scrap and then go in publication order. So it's not that I feel like tremendously prepared, it's just like, yeah, I feel like a senior and I've turned in all my work and like graduation is coming, I'm good to go, I'm in college, all I gotta do is just like show up for the end of the stuff, and it's like Spirit Week and shit. I just get to be cool, slide out the door. But this story, I was thinking about how some of the books are set in the country and then some of the books are set in the city, and I was wondering if he had set stories in both the country and the city so that all kids could feel like they had a chance to get to Narnia no matter where they lived, or if maybe he was just changing up the entry to Narnia because you can't get there the same way twice, because things don't happen the same way twice.
I really like that. Right? I like the part of, everybody
Everyone
could
has a
go.
chance.
Yeah, everybody has a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why diversity in storytelling is important.
Yeah, because the Pevensies the Pevensies do have some sort of like Harry Potter like lore of them coming, but not because they did anything or were anyone really at all. Like, they were just regular kids.
Right.
And that, I think that the simplicity in that is really good for a young reader, because it's like, it could happen to me.
Right. They were still the chosen one for the situation, but they were just kids. And then you have that same thing with Jill Pole, where she's like, I think you got the wrong person. Mm-hmm. And Aslan is like, no, I didn't.
I don't make mistakes.
Yeah, you don't know who you're
born
talking.
This way. Aslan told me when I was young, you're gonna save Narnia. And this one takes place in our favorite town,
Londonworld. We'll start with a chapter 1, of course. The Wrong Door.
This is my favorite. I love a story that tells you how important it is before anything happens.
Yeah.
Things used to be better and candies were good and you wouldn't get it because you're not cool.
I'm sure the candy was so good, and he's like, it was so cheap. It was like a penny, a nickel, or some crap. But the meals were nicer. I doubt that.
Yeah, you're in London.
You don't understand. You're from Londonworld. You don't get it. I seen your food.
England colonized the world because their food sucked and the weather sucked.
And we're told that the story takes place at the same time that Sherlock was solving mysteries and on Baker Street, blah, 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 blah. And I did have to look up if Sherlock Holmes was a real person. I didn't think that he was a real person. For the record, I didn't think that he was a real person.
All over again.
For anybody else that thought that he might have been real, he's not real. But the author Conan Doyle did model his methods and mannerisms on those of Dr. Joseph Bell, who had been his professor at the University of Edinburgh Medical School. So just in the times of those stories, our story is also taking place. And we open on another young girl, similar to our last story with Jill Pole, but this is Polly Plummer. Great names.
Polly Plummer.
Polly Plummer. Plummer, not with a B, although it is probably down the line some sort of water work, because name origins in medieval England, people often took names that reflected their profession or trade. Plumber is an occupation, blah blah blah, obviously. Also, though, I found plumber may be the name that refers to plumbers in Hertfordshire, which may come from the Middle English word plome, meaning lake, pond, or pool, which might have some significance in our story, which I thought was kind of interesting.
A pool of plums.
A pool of plums, kind of like those cranberry pits, but just a bunch of plums.
Oh my god, now I'm thinking
The
about...
spiders?
Yep.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, me too. Well, let me say a nice one. Polly, her first name, I guess we could have started there, is a feminine name of Latin origin that means star of the sea. So I kind of thought that could be nice with the lake, pool, pond. Like, she's the star of all the water. Any type of water, she's the shining star. She very quickly meets another child. The face of the strange boy was very grubby. It could hardly have been grubbier if he had first rubbed his hands in the earth, and then had a good cry, and then dried his face with his hands. As a matter of fact, this was very nearly what he had been doing. Poor boy, why was he crying?
Poor little boy. This boy, he says, hello.
Hello. I love almost all the way throughout the book, I think, all the hellos are with a U. Hello. So sweet.
Hello, what's your name?
Polly introduces herself to the boy and asks what his name is, to which he responds, Diggory. And there's no last names because, kids.
Yeah.
I wasn't using my last name, my long-ass last name. Definitely not. We also don't get ages for these kids, but I kind of imagine they are Lucy, 8-year-old Lion Witch in the Wardrobe age, just because of how imaginative they are when discussing different things and reasons for different things. Like, Diggory has got an imagination. And we'll do some name origin for this Diggory that we do get that felt very familiar from another story that may have borrowed,
Been
used.
inspired.
The name Diggory is a boy's name that comes from the Middle English terms Diggory or Diggory with 2 G's and an ERY, which are derived from the Old English word Digrian. Digrian means to wander or stray from a path, which I think does show to be quite indicative of this boy's character. He just kind of does his own thing and he doesn't really think about
He's a free
consequences.
spirit.
But he's also, I assume, an 8-year-old boy.
Yeah.
So I was making choices then.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells her that his father is away in India and that's why he's stuck in this hole. I'm like, oh, colonialism.
I think that is pronounced India.
India.
Then.
10 points from Hufflepuff.
Wait, this means that it's in the time of the little princess.
Oh, another wonderful story.
One of those movies that I just literally thinking about will make me fucking sob.
I hope that they can hear the rain in the background.
I hope so too. I realized with my AirPods you can add rain to the music you're listening to, and it added rainstorm to fucking Muse.
A thunder crash right on the...
It was just really loud rain, but I was just when you thought Muse didn't need anything else, turns out a thunderstorm in the background.
And in addition to his father being away, he is here in Londonworld with his mother, who is very sick. And she's living with her sister and brother, his aunt and uncle. And he lets her know that she's probably gonna die. Because he was crying earlier, obviously. And he is really sad and is spiraling and panicking, and he thinks he's gonna lose his mom, and his dad's not even here. So it's a really sad start.
Yeah, well, because he makes fun of her name, and she's like, your name's fucking stupid too. And he's like, I don't like being here. This place is, he calls it a beastly hole.
Yeah, beastly hole. She's like, hey, I live here. You're my next door neighbor. This is not a hole. Don't call my house a hole.
But hurt people, and thankfully Polly is sweet enough to understand that he's just projecting. So
When she hears of the mother, she softens very very much, and it's really sweet and very emotionally mature. So maybe they're 10, but also kids understand. Kids are really smart, and we don't give them enough credit. And by we, I mean me, because I'm not gonna say that. Well, no, I will say that society as a whole do not give kids enough credit. I will say that on the record.
Yeah, no, you were correct. I will agree with that on the record. She is very sweet and kind of just changes the subject, asking if his uncle is really mad.
I'm sure there's all kinds of stories about this dude among the kids in the neighborhood. And he's like, yeah, he's weird. And my aunt never lets us have a conversation at dinner. She's always shutting him down. Yeah. He heard a strange yell the other night or something. He's like, maybe there was a crime, and this is what they just maybe this is what's happening, but they're just bored kids. It's summer break, and we learn it's a wet summer because it's London, so it's always fucking raining.
But they discover that there's a passageway between their houses because of how they're connected.
Yeah, she's like, okay, you're cool. Let me show you my secret spot. This attic crawl space, and it accesses she's behind, which I didn't catch this on many read-throughs of this, but they don't really utilize the whole space because I think that some of the space does have flooring. She's going behind the cistern, which is a big water tank, and that's where there's just the rafters of the in-between walls because everything else is more finished for access, I guess.
But this house have a water tank?
I don't know if every house would have one, but I did look it up, and the cistern is a large tank that stores water, usually rainwater for domestic or consumptive purposes. Less so consumptive, because it's untreated rainwater. They're often buried underground, though.
I just got focused on the contents of her treasures.
I don't have a list of the treasures, so I will definitely want to know.
Oh, it's not...
I mean, it's kids
too
stuff.
Fancy, yeah. No, it's this cash box that has a story she's writing, and usually a few apples, because of course we have to have apples, and usually a little bottle of ginger beer and just kid stuff.
Right, and there's a bunch of empty bottles lying around. She's made so this little section behind the cistern doesn't have flooring because it's not meant for use, and she's brought up old luggage, broken luggage pieces, and old chair, the seats of chairs that are all broken off to make a makeshift floor behind there because she wants it to be, I think they call it her smuggler's cave or whatever. She's having her Goonies moment way before the Goonies.
Pre-Goon.
And it's fucking wet London, so probably almost every summer, unless it's fucking hot and gross. I feel I don't know, but I feel they don't get a good summer.
Yeah.
It's just wet or hot.
So they decide to explore the tunnel and go through the houses because why not? Sounds like fun.
Yeah. And then Polly realizes that you could get into the other houses. Diggory's you can't just go into people's houses. She's well, no, not people's houses, but there's this empty house that's right next to your house, and it's been empty as long as I've been here. I'm well, how long do you remember, Polly? 4 years, which is still a long time, I guess. Year. But then they start talking about whether it's haunted or whatever, but they do decide to go into this empty house to see, why not expand the smuggler's cave to a smuggler's home? It would be so cool. And they're very excited to start their adventure. They do some little measuring of the rooms downstairs with their feet so that they can count the rafters and make sure they know how far they have to walk down this little tunnel.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's honestly pretty smart. And they start going down and get to the door, and now all of a sudden it's way too real because they have to open this door and they're in a dark tunnel. Like, they do have little candles. Polly even brought out 2 candles, one for each of them, because it's a special adventure occasion. And I think he asks if she's really sure, and she goes, "I'm game if you are." It's like, I'm not going to be bested by you little grubby boy. So they open the door, which is, in the illustration, much bigger than I imagined it. It looks like a full 6-foot-tall door compared to their kid bodies. And I always imagined it as like a 3-foot, even though these are the books I read growing up. In my head, I just imagined it as like a 3-foot kind of square utility crawl space door. And then they do open the door, and this room is definitely not empty.
Mm-mm.
It is shaped like an attic, similar to Polly's, but it is furnished like a sitting room. So there's a fireplace, which has a fire burning in it. Is this leave? This is the immediate sign to leave, because somebody lit that fire and is probably gonna be right back. But kids, I guess.
It was a very cold summer that year, and I'm thinking that, like, maybe, I mean, they are ding dong kids, so maybe that's why they didn't think about it. But just, I mean, all I have for the room is that it had just like bottles, pens, sealing wax, and a microscope.
Ooh.
But Polly notices immediately this bright red wooden tray that has a bunch of rings on it in pairs.
A yellow one and a green one, and a yellow one and a green one. And a yellow. No, I think there's only 2 pairs. But it says with a number, so maybe there are 10 or so. I don't really know. It doesn't. He loves a vague fucking number. This C.S. Lewis, Mister.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember his name right now, but in my PDF, it has his full name on every page. Clive Staples Lewis is his name. I know your name, sir.
And then a faint, very faint humming sound coming from the rings. He describes, it sounds like a Hoover, but
they don't know that hasn't been invented yet. Vacuums have not been invented.
But
like it's kind of like high vibration frequencies. Probably exactly like that. And she's not sure that it's coming from the rings, but she's like pretty sure. But it also, why would it be coming from the rings, you know? And then something moves. I was like, someone is here. I fucking told you, little kids. And it's Uncle Andrew. Turns out they didn't go one door enough. Which, why didn't you just count the doors that you would have to go? So Polly's house is next to your house, and that house is next to the empty house.
It's dark in there.
They had candles.
But spooky.
I don't know how thick it really was, I guess, or how wide the space really was, I guess.
Well, either way,
they're gonna be in trouble.
Uncle Andrew is very tall, very thin, has a long, clean-shaven face with a sharp nose and extremely bright eyes and a great tousled mop of gray hair. He's just standing there, and then he walks across the room, shuts the door, locks the door, flips around, and he smiles at the children, showing all of his teeth. And he bites their heads off. Just kidding.
Since we've got the new character, I'm going to do a little name origin. The name Andrew is a masculine Greek name that means strong or manly. It also has biblical connections, as it was the name of Jesus' first apostle in the New Testament. But this Andrew is being so creepy and gross. Like you said, he locks them in with him, and then they like start to fucking creepy ass smiles. They start to back toward the attic door again, and he like walks around, closes the door, and stands in between it. So they would have to go past him to get out. Yeah. But I'm like, you could also just run to the other door and unlock it, and unless he locked it with a key.
It's giving Mr. Burns.
Not just yet. This is too good an opportunity to miss. I wanted two children. You see, I'm in the middle of a great experiment. I've tried it on a guinea pig and it seemed to work. But then a guinea pig can't tell you anything. And you can't explain to it how to come back.
Like freaking Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, I got a little ooky with it.
I mean, that's kind of how it feels he's being. And he's all weird. He's got his mad scientist hair.
Mm-hmm.
He like,
Crooked man.
yeah, and then he pivots really quickly, energetically. Anyway, not physically. Because Polly's just like, no, like, I have to go. Like, well, they just are really weirded out. And they're like, we have to go.
Yeah, it's dinner time. So we gotta go eat dinner.
Yeah. He's like, okay, fine. You can leave if you really want to. But since you're here, I don't see kids very often. You can't leave without taking a gift first. And he goes to Polly, asking if she would like a ring. And, such a pretty gift for such a pretty girl, like playing on her. Well, I guess he didn't see her looking at them earlier because his back was turned. But, I mean, to make an assumption, what little girl doesn't want a shiny ring? But she did say that if she was younger, she would want to pop it in her mouth.
Yeah.
Like, these just look beautiful, even though they're just a yellow band and a green band. They're nothing ornate or anything.
And she was drawn to she was drawn into, I think that's maybe why, like, she was drawn into that room. It seemed like she noticed them first, almost like they were calling to her. She says, oh, you mean those yellow or green ones? How lovely.
How lovely. And he says, yes, but just the yellow one. You can't have a green one. No green ones for you, girl.
No green
Can't
for
gift
girls.
away.
Not for the girl.
And she walks over to the tray and says, why, I declare, that humming noise gets louder here. It's almost as if the rings were making it. Yes,
Ha, ha,
almost,
ha.
Polly.
Ha 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 ha.
Definitely not the rings. There's nothing else over here that would make noise.
Mm-hmm. Diggory knows, though.
He sees something up.
He's like, don't be a fool, Polly.
Because he sees Uncle Andrew's face, whereas Polly is drawn in by the rings. She's looking at the rings. He's looking at Uncle Andrew and sees his face turn and look greedy. And I don't think it says evil at this point, but
She's distracted by the beautiful celebrities, and even while he's screaming, don't be a fool, it's too late because she touches one of the yellow rings.
and she vanishes with no noise. Polly is simply gone. Editing Wyatt here, just to point out what I feel now is a quite obvious allegory, allusion, whatever, to Fae and their gifts that transport you to the Fae realm with no way of returning. We have Polly here accepting a gift from a magical stranger and instantly disappears to somewhere she has no way of getting back from. That's all. And we jump right into the next chapter. Chapter 2. Diggory and his uncle.
Fuck.
Yeah, and he's like, what? What did you just do? What did you do? What happened? He's like, hell yeah, it worked.
What the hell did this guinea pig abusing creepy motherfucker just do?
Yeah, and he starts to like explain it in his own. He's like, "Ooh, like, why are you worried about that? Like, this is an incredible discovery I just made, and I only just like got it figured out." And Diggory's like, "That's why you screamed the other night." He goes, "You're not spying on me, are you?" "No, you screamed."
Yeah,
I
there's
heard
a
it.
scram.
A scrum. And he goes, "I'm going to tell you a little story about what just happened. Don't worry about that little girl that just vanished without a trace. Have you heard of Mrs. LeFay?" What? What? He's like, what is happening? Yeah, I think so. That old lady, my great-grandmother or something. Something like that, he says, or whatever. He goes, "It was my godmother." And he shows him a picture. But we learn she turned rather queer later in life.
That's a queer point.
Yeah, one queer point already. And we're told that they shut her up Diggory goes, in an asylum. No, in prison. For probably doing weird, unethical experiments like fucking Uncle Andrew, but with people like he has now escalated to. But when she was finally let out of prison so that she could die, she told Andrew the location of a secret box in her home.
The moment I picked up that box, I could tell by the pricking in my fingers that...
Where am I going? It's getting so creepy.
The moment I picked up the box, I could tell by the pricking in my fingers that I held some great secrets in my hands. She gave it to me and made a promise that as soon as she was dead, I would burn it unopened with certain ceremonies. That promise I did not keep.
Diggory's like, but you promised. You have to keep promises.
LOL, I crossed my fingers.
Basically, he's like, well, I don't really like. Of course, you would keep promises. You're a child. You're a child. But I'm a scientist. I'm doing an experiment. I am above that. I have to make choices for the greater good of the world's knowledge.
Ethical.
Yeah, he says that it's very lonely to have to make these kinds of choices, and you wouldn't understand it. And Diggory decides he doesn't really like Uncle Andrew.
Oh, now he decides he doesn't like him?
He didn't like him before necessarily, but he also didn't really know him. As his story progresses, he tells Diggory that his godmother was the last woman on Earth with fairy blood in her. So he had a fairy godmother. Is that real or not real, Lewis? Come on.
I bet she was a bad fairy.
I did some name origin real quick on LaFay, because it was the only part of her name I could find. And it's said to be pseudo-French. It's a pseudo-French phrase that means the fairy. It was coined in the 15th century by Thomas Malory in Arthurian legend. Think Morgan Le Fay, Morgana Le Fay. And Diggory asks about Polly again. He's like, okay, but where did she go? What happened to her? And he's like, why do you care so much? What do you mean? Because he's not a piece of filth like you, Andrew. What are you talking about? He's like, it doesn't matter. Like, this box is cooler than any box you've ever seen in your life. It came from Atlantis. I was like, wait, so Atlantis is also real in this mythology? Fairies are real and Atlantis? And Narnia?
Why is there no music in that movie?
In Atlantis?
There isn't.
Not even any, like...
There's scores, but there's not a single song with lyrics.
Oh, it's with lyrics, yeah.
Yeah, like, there's no, like, who put the gladiator?
Yeah, it's not a musical. Okay,
No.
I know what you mean.
But how many Disney movies aren't musicals? Sorry, that just really bothered me, because why, whatever. First he says, like, he says it's very ancient, and he knows that it isn't Greek, or Egyptian, or Babylonian, or Hittite, Hittite. Do you know what that is?
I didn't look it up, but I can look it up real quick, I bet. The Hittites.
Hittite.
But it might be Hittite is like what you would call something
Hittite,
of the
okay.
culture. The Hittites were an Anatolian Indo-European people who formed one of the first major civilizations of the Bronze Age of West Asia.
Oh, okay, so those are probably the people who invented cheese.
Definitely.
I think cheese was like first like kind of documented in like the year 400, and it was like, yeah, like I mean,
Probably an accident.
of course, like all good
Like
things.
all, yeah.
Yeah, but I think it was like in like the regions of China. But who's to say they didn't have other forms of cheese in other parts? Yeah, it's one of those things where like, I don't know who did it. It's been around for a while, and everybody likes cheese except Katya.
Which is wild.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure that there are other people in the world that don't like cheese. If you don't like cheese, call in.
My new drag name is going to be Pseudo French.
Please welcome to the stage, Pseudo French.
I will say that although Uncle Andrew has been popping off for a minute in this monologue, he does give us our second queer point where he mentions that some devilish queer people go through some very disagreeable experiences from the tests that he performed. So he's just as bad as his fairy godmother.
He's done some shit. That's what turned his head gray. So I don't know what type of stress, or if it's more like an Elsa, like Tangled, where your hair color changes because of the magic thing.
I was thinking it was more like a Triwizard Cup, like, you know, the twins making themselves old on accident.
Maybe that too. Maybe using magic, if you use it incorrectly, like in The Witcher, if you use magic incorrectly, the magic eats you up. So the magic could also age you. Nothing comes for free. Magic comes at a price. The energy has to come from somewhere. And if you don't pull that energy from somewhere else, it's going to pull it from you.
Mm-hmm.
That's also just a fun fact for any witches out there doing magic. You have to think about these things.
It reminds me.
That's why I don't do magic.
I haven't talked about Sabrina the Teenage Witch in like 5 minutes, but there's an episode where she goes to the other realm and goes shopping, and she gets this really cute sweater for her friend, and it's just another one of the reasons I loved that show, because it had such strong values and ethics. Shout out to Melissa Joan Hart, who probably is a Republican, unfortunately, but hopefully she's a cool Republican. Anyway, she gets a sweater for her friend, and they, because of the price or whatever, it ends up taking like 20% of a sweater that she has in the mortal realm, and she's really upset about it. I don't know why I'm off on this tangent. It doesn't matter. Anyway,
because nothing comes for free.
Nothing comes for free. Yeah.
But one day he gets better at magic, and he also gets better in health, because his health ended up breaking down, probably because he was using magic incorrectly, but he figured it out, and then he was able to open the box and figure out what was inside. It was just dust.
Damn it.
Right, imagine the immediate, like, fuck. But also, like, if this box was that magically sealed, whatever this dust is very special. And he's able to somehow figure out that this dust is from another world before our world even began.
So, in my head, I'm like, I would just take a little bit out and just think of a happy thought and then just throw it in my face, a la the Big Lebowski.
Yeah, and see what happens. I'm sure that was his first try.
The one straight guy who listens to our podcast will enjoy that joke.
Mm-hmm.
So Diggory is cheesed. He wants his friend back. Rightfully so. I want our friend back.
Yeah, where the fuck did, like, you can't just disappear a girl without answering some fucking questions. And I get that he is excited to tell this story because it worked, and if he were to tell the story before seeing that girl disappear, of course you're not going to fucking believe him, because you already think that he's a crazy old man.
Mm-hmm.
But now you have to believe it because she's gone. And he explains that by another world, he means like another existence, not like another planet that you could fly to if you had something to get there, like something that is only accessible by magic. Like that's where this dust came from. And after many failed attempts, he succeeded in harnessing the power of this dust in creating the yellow rings, which he was pretty sure would send any creature to the other place. Now he just had to figure out how to get them back, because, as he said, the guinea pig disappeared the other night with a yellow ring, I'm assuming, but he couldn't get it back. And now he needs to figure out how to get back from this other place, capital O, capital P. Or at least it is in my notes.
Yeah. No, it isn't mine as well.
Cool.
I feel like now it's more like flu powder, but like to the extreme.
Right, he harnessed the flu powder and he put it in a ring. But it also, like, I'm assuming he thinks the green rings are coming back. That is also what he's assuming, but he doesn't really know. So he was somehow able to separate this dust into two different magical properties, which is honestly very impressive with just like some rudimentary magic and an interest and a microscope. Like, I can get a microscope and some dust. Will it be from an Atlantean box from my fairy godmother? Maybe.
Maybe not. Also, like, how many texts are there to read at this point in history? There's gotta be an ending point. So yeah, there's a lot to learn, but not as much as there would be now.
Right. And although the green rings may bring you back, Polly hasn't got one.
What do you mean?
Can you see Runner's decided, folks?
He says they've already got one.
Because Diggory does. And he is not happy that Andrew has trapped him in this way. He thinks it's really low. He thinks it's really cheap. He's like, why didn't you just go there in the fucking first place? But I've got no choice now but to go. And he's like, well, you could just go downstairs and tell Mrs. Plummer that she's never going to see her daughter again.
Ew.
And he's like, oh.
You suck.
He's like, but you don't really know whether I can get back. Because he goes, oh, well, the quicker that you leave, the quicker you'll get back. He's like, you don't even know that I'm coming back. But there's nothing else to do except put on the ring and walk right into chapter 3. The wood between the worlds. He is like appearing consciousness. It's like he wasn't anywhere for a second and now he's in a pool of water, and then he climbs out and he's dry, and the pool was actually only like a puddle. Really, it's only a couple inches deep.
Yeah, I gotta do like
Also, like, at least you're not starting off an adventure wet with wet sock. Oh my god, because we know they walk a lot. And if you got wet sock, sorry for the ASMR,
I can't believe we've made it this far and we've not discussed how terrible that would have been.
and I'm sure it's happened, except for Shasta. Shasta's honestly smart. They also weren't walking through water ever, except for the one river.
Interesting.
Opinion.
I was just going to transition to actually talking about this. I mean, no.
Yeah.
I was going to say that this particular pool, this particular area, whatever realm that he's in, has like a soft green light, which I think is interesting because up until now, green hasn't necessarily always been the best color, but I do appreciate the transition as to not like have any too specific themes with things like that. Like green isn't necessarily inherently bad. At least I hope not. I don't know.
Which is great coming right off of the silver chair,
Mm-hmm.
where the enemy was a green serpent, the lady of green kirtle,
The green mist. And
the green mist in the bullshit movie. And now we've got what seems to be a nice, wonderful green place.
yeah.
He was standing by the edge of a small pool, no more than 10 feet from side to side. The trees grew close together and were so leafy they could get no glimpse of the sky. So that's why we know there's green light. It's like a warm summer day. There's no birds, no insects, no wind. He says you could almost feel the trees growing.
I felt trees growing
Yeah.
before, man.
And there's just pools everywhere. Dozens, hundreds, as far as the eye could reach. Every few yards. Does yours say yards in your book? Because I
yeah.
kind of assumed that it was translated to yards for the American edition. I should start putting page numbers in my
Yards.
quotes. Yeah, it's interesting that they say yards in the book. But whatever. It also says that you could almost feel, as well as the trees growing, that the trees are drinking up the water with their roots. I'm like, what type of trees are these? They're drinking the water of like hundreds, thousands of worlds.
I regretted that immediately.
Degree immediately forgets why he was there. He's just like, I've always been here. And I'm like, oh my god.
My
is this one of
tasks.
these? But it's just so beautiful and perfect and calm. It's like, what's the enlightenment or whatever?
Nirvana?
When you're meditating, you're there. And so
Yeah.
you're just like, what?
Enlightenment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
I think it's just
Nirvana
called
is what I wanted. Yeah, that's what I wanted, I think.
In the woods, there's a girl.
Girl?
Girl.
What type of girl?
She's lying on her back.
Wow, this is also fucking giving Silverchair.
She's sleeping in the woods. It doesn't really describe her other than sleepy.
Right, and she's half awake, half asleep, and then sits up, and they kind of just look at each other for a while. And he's like, she kind of looks familiar. He asks how long she's been there. She's like, oh, forever. He goes, yeah, so have I. No, you haven't. You just saw you come up out of that pool. He's like, oh, yeah, I'd forgotten. It's like, they're stoned. Like, I think I've seen you in a dream before or something. They're like, you were my next door neighbor. There was this girl who looked like you.
They're really stoned.
Except her face was dirty. She's like, nuh-uh. In my dream, the boy's face was dirty. So
I love that he says, I can't remember the boy's face. I just thought that was funny because it's like how you...
he can't remember his own face.
Yeah. Well, also, like, you've never really seen it before. But he sees the ring on the guinea pig, the ring on his finger, and then he realizes that she has one on her finger. And then...
that's when it all clicks together.
Yeah, and then they both shout at the same time, Mr. Ketterly. Except he shouts Uncle Andrew because he doesn't call him
Mr. Ketterly.
That would be kind of weird.
We've got our first animal.
Ding, 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 ding.
We've got our... Well, he mentioned the guinea pig earlier, but this is the guinea pig.
Jimpy.
And it is symbolic of friendship and community, which is also makes me sad because they're used in animal testing in many fields of research because they have biological similarities to humans, and that's the term, guinea pig for an experiment.
This was what he wanted.
He used the guinea pig, and then he used them as his guinea pigs.
I mean, the colloquialism for testing something is guinea pig.
Yeah, it's sad.
What if there's like a realm where like guinea pigs are like the dominant life force, and they just get to walk around crunching us and like adorably nibbling us up?
Have you ever seen G-Force?
You should know by looking at me that I have not.
It's like a CIA or FBI secret force of guinea pigs.
Oh, is that Galifianakis?
Yeah, that are smart and they sound like.
Yeah, that was his Garfield.
It was not that good. And Nicolas Cage is in it. He voices a mole. There's also a mole character that's smart and he's nerdy. He's like the computer guy.
I feel like being a human, because I'm pretty sure Zach Galifianakis, he's like the human, right?
I don't remember, but I think
you're supposed to know the entire plot of this
he's the
movie.
one with the beard, right?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think he's a guinea pig.
Because
the guy that's leading them is like clean shaven, I think, or my memory's just off.
I hate
that. I'm making you look up G-Force.
It's like when the kids make me play music at work, and I'm like, "You're fucking up my Spotify algorithm," and I'm like, "I'm just kidding."
But now you'll be able to
I'm
bring
not.
up G-Force.
G-Force. A specifically trained squad of guinea pigs is dispatched to stop a diabolical billionaire from taking over the world. Anyway, so what do we do? Take the guinea pig and go home? Or...
No way, I'm not taking that guinea pig back. He was just... He doesn't know how... He killed a whole bunch of them because he said some of them just blew up when he tried just like sprinkling the powder on the guinea pigs probably, and they just blew up. Which, side note, is probably because it was just both of the powders mixed together, and so they were trying to go to two different places at the same time. You can't go both places, and so it just like... You can't go there and be grounded in the home realm at the same time.
Hope that Uncle Andrew's personal hell is just like a hamster wheel that's constantly spinning. Yeah, why take him? Like, let's not go back because the guinea pig's happy.
He's got all the grass he could ever eat. It's never gonna stop growing. Like, let's go back home.
Oh, also, how do we get back home? We didn't bring any swimsuits.
And Diggory's like, well, I wasn't wet when I came up, and neither are you, so I'm assuming that we'll be fine. And so they just, I think they hold hands, and they jump in the pool, and nothing happens except they get wet socks.
Womp womp.
And Diggory then uses his brain and remembers that they were supposed to put on the green rings. That was the whole point. He brought the green rings for them to come back. But then he has an idea, cut off his own idea, and he goes, but maybe we could go to another world. Like, we could go to any one of these other places. They could be anything, anywhere. Polly's like, but isn't this the place that your Uncle Andrew said we were coming to? He's like, no. He never even came here. He's too scared. Like, he doesn't know anything about anything.
Mm-hmm.
This could be a place between worlds. And Polly names it. She goes, the wood between the worlds.
That's the name of the chapter.
That sounds lovely. I think that's what she says anyway. And, because I said, like, there's secret tunnel through the mountain, secret tunnel, yeah. Yeah, he's like, it's like our in-between place. There's nothing goes on here. That's why there's no birds. That's why there's nothing, because it's not meant for use, basically. And she's like, I am not going to be jumping into any pools unless I know I can get fucking home.
Mm-hmm. They're basically, I mean, they are like wormhole portals. So it's like, okay, well, let's figure out if we can get home. And then it's like, well, what if we can just do like
half?
Yeah, just do like a little bit.
Because it's magic. You don't really know the rules. You may as well experiment.
Just a dip.
Polly's like, I'm going to shout change when we're almost there and we're going to switch back to yellow. And Diggory's like, I want to say change. Polly goes, it's my plan. I'm saying fucking change.
All right.
So they do the plan, Polly's plan, and it works perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
They put on their green rings, they jump in the pool, they swizzle on down, and you might be able to hear that ambulance or fire truck. Hope it is saving lives. And as soon as they see the rooftops, it's kind of Google Earth. They slide down onto the planet, onto the row houses, into the attic. And as soon as it starts to come into focus, Polly shouts, change. They switch back to yellow and then reverse back. It seems like the reverse is much quicker than the getting. Like, the going to the wood seems much quicker than the returning home.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is interesting. But
it said the whole thing had taken less than a minute, which is pretty fast. And then Diggory's just like, let's go on an adventure. Any pool will do.
yeah, he starts to run to the next pool.
And then Polly's like, shouldn't we mark this pool?
Oh my god. Imagine if they didn't.
I have the quote. They stared at each other and turned quite white as they realized the dreadful thing that Diggory had just been about to do, for there were any number of pools in this world, and the pools were all alike, and the trees were all alike, so that if they had once left behind the pool that led to our own world without marking some sort of landmark, the chances would have been 100 to 1 against their ever finding it. 100 to 1 chance of ever coming home again?
Yeah. Polly, this is the reason Polly's fucking here, to be the brain.
Mm-hmm.
Why does it always land on the non-men to think?
To Polly.
To Polly! Diggory cuts up a piece of grass, and it's very fresh red earth underneath, so it'll be very obvious, as long as this place doesn't magically grow grass in 5 minutes, and we don't know that it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully the grass will be gone when they come back, and they will know which one the home pool is.
I would have left like a part of my clothes or something, because there's no wind.
You have a knife. I mean, yeah, not stab it in the ground. Don't lose your only tool and weapon. But yeah, clothes. Leave a jacket. Leave. Because the guinea pig's going to walk around. You could also take off the red ribbon and ring and put that on the ground, and the guinea pig doesn't need to wear that around.
That's very true. Yeah, and then she says, it's a good thing one of us has some sense, but aren't you the one who grabbed the ring from the creep, Polly?
Yeah, you knew he was creepy. He locked you in an attic, and you still took it, even as Diggory was like, wait, no.
Glass row houses.
And they jump into the fresh new pool. and they get their wet socks freshened up. Nothing happens. We are told that the yellow rings were made of stuff that wanted to get back into the wood between the worlds. And the green rings were made out of stuff that wanted to leave the wood between the worlds. And that Diggory doesn't find this out until much later, but he doesn't figure out the wood stuff. He figures out they should put on the green rings, because you've got to... What else are you going to do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Blast and botheration.
Botheration.
Botheration. No screaming. Everybody's getting really mad in the... I wasn't ready. It's because I was keeping track of where we were, because now they know how to get places, and they're ready to go. And Diggory he checks in one more time to make sure. And Polly hits him with a, "I'm game if you are."
I'm built different, bitch.
A 1, 2, 3, go!
And they jumped into the next chapter. Chapter 4. The bell and the hammer.
There was no doubt about the magic this time. Down and down they rushed, first through the darkness and then through a mass of vague and whirling shapes which might have been almost anything. It grew lighter. Then suddenly they felt they were standing on something solid. A moment later, everything came into focus and they were able to look about them
At a queer place!
Queer place.
That's a queer
the third
point.
one. This is a queer ass book, This Magician's Nephew, ain't it? This is why it's my favorite.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, 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 ding.
But the light is not like sunlight, or like an electric light, or a lamp, or a candle, or any light they've ever seen.
Right, Diggory thinks it might be like an eclipse or something. It's this strange red light from the sky. And the sky's not red. The sky's a dark blue that was almost black. I'm like, well, isn't the sky always black? Like, what are you talking about?
Sounds super melancholy.
But it's also, the sun is out, so the sky should not be black.
Polly doesn't like it.
No, she's like, it's not an eclipse. This is just a bad place. We should fucking go. This is our Susan, baby. This is our Ravenclaw. She's like, get the fuck out of here. I'm leaving.
Both of them are whispering.
Oh, yeah.
They don't know why they're talking in whispers though, because there's not really anything happening. But it seems fair to talk in whispers because where are they?
A very, very old castle, or ruin, rather.
It has everything. Windows. More windows. Pillared arches. More windows.
Does the open house have cookies? And the reason they're whispering is because this place is at least as quiet as the wood between the worlds, but unfortunately a different kind of silence. Not a nice, warm, sleepy silence.
Cold.
Dead.
Empty.
You couldn't imagine anything growing in it. Polly's like, let's go home.
Yeah.
There's like a million other pools we could jump into. Like, we could end up on Rainbow Kitten Land. We could end up on freaking Tron. And we don't even know about that. We could end up on... like, why are we here? This is the spookiest place. And Diggory's like, I'm not scared. I'm gonna go. And she's like, fine, I'll go anywhere you go. I'm not fucking scared. I just don't want to be here.
And I think it's very cute to mention that up until this point they were letting hands until...
They were still holding hands.
Yeah, until mentions being afraid. So they creepily, quietly go under the big arched doorway, and that leads to a building, and then there's a threshold, and then it's not so dark, but there's a vast shadowy hall, which is empty, and then more pillars, and then more light, and just walking, and then more courtyard. Courtyard, pillar, archway, no sleep,
Fountain, courtyard, dead world, no ants, no
great stone
spiders,
monsters.
no moss, nothing.
Oh my gosh, Great Stone Monster is a pretty good band name.
Yeah, that is a good band name.
And it died long ago. There's no ants or spiders or any living things.
No moss.
No
Moss.
No spiders.
And Diggory's like, all right, this place is boring. Let's leave. But they turn a corner and see two big old doors, possibly made of gold at one point, but dusty. and one of them is a jar. So you've got to go peek in.
Gotta
You
go.
gotta peek in. And now, finally, something interesting is happening.
For a second, they thought the room was full of people. Hundreds of people, all seated and perfectly still. Polly and Diggory stood perfectly still for a long time. The people looked like the most wonderful waxworks you've ever seen. There was something in this room that interested Polly much more than Diggory, and all the figures were wearing magnificent clothes.
Right. Diggory's, like, drawn in by something actually happening and kind of probably the creepiness factor.
Mm-hmm.
And Polly's like, wait, but this is gorgeous.
Their robes are crimson and silver grey, deep purple, vivid green patterns and pictures of flowers and strange beasts. Needlework over them, precious stones and brightness. That was precious stones, astonishing brightness, crowns and chains around the neck and feet and something and stuff.
Like, they're all wearing crowns? Are they all royalty? Like, this... What? A hall of kings?
Kings are there?
Kings and queens. Like, what? You can't all be in charge.
It's like an autonomous collective of monarchies.
Yeah.
Like a monarchical autonomous collective.
And near the door where they all looked like nice people, but as they start walking into the room, they could see less and less happy faces. They looked more despair, more darkness underneath the faces, until they see one woman at the end of the table, taller and better dressed than the rest, with a look of fierce pride. The most beautiful woman Diggory had ever and would ever see.
She's a brick. House. Oh, she's mighty. She's frozen and sitting down.
Polly doesn't think she looks so special. This reminds me of the Velas from Harry Potter, which aren't just from Harry Potter, but the way they have that effect on people that are attracted to women. Like, but if you don't find women attractive, you're like, they're not that pretty. Like, they're just kind of mean.
Yeah.
So Polly's like, she's not, what? I don't care. Her dress is nice.
Yeah. She looks like a bitch.
Diggory wants to find out more about this room, and at the center of the room there's this pillar with a little golden bell on it and a little golden hammer next to it, and there's some writing on the pillar. So he's like, let's go over there and investigate. But they can't read the language because they're not on Earth.
Right.
But
I hate when that happens.
yeah, right. Me too. But upon closer inspection, the words revealed themselves to our characters.
What?
Proving this is a magical place. Which is a really cool magic, and I am so excited. That is the one little piece of technology that I appreciate, is the little phone translation thing where you can hold up your phone and it translates it, augmented reality.
Mm-hmm.
That is cool and useful and connecting the way that technology is supposed to work.
I don't like the imagery of this, but also, like, in my head I'm seeing it in a very, very creepy, like, Conjuring, Silent Hill.
They said waxwork. That's scary to me. I don't know what it was in
like,
the 1910s or whenever this is.
Well, I can hear the music, and then I can hear it getting scarier and scarier and scarier until you eventually get to this lady.
Bell.
Yeah.
Oh, the lady.
And like the bell is like kind of humming also. But do you want me to read what the spell says?
And as it reveals its true words.
Make your choice, adventurous stranger. Strike the bell and bide the danger. Or wonder till it drives you mad. But would have followed if you had.
Polly's like, chill. I don't want any danger. Let's bounce. Bye.
Cool.
I don't need that.
Yep, that's fine. No thanks. I fucked around and found out too many times already today.
Yeah. Diggory goes, no, but don't you see? I can feel the magic working on me already. I'm gonna be driven mad. I have to know what happens. Polly's like, what the? I don't feel the magic. You don't feel the magic. Shut the fuck up.
Let it go.
You don't feel the magic. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
And he's like, I do. Meh, meh, meh. You don't even understand what this is about. He's giving fucking Uncle Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
And she even calls him on it. She goes, you look just like your uncle right there. Or just sounded like him or whatever.
Yeah, he's like, you don't understand because you're a girl, because girls don't know about bells.
Yeah. She goes, how exactly like a man that was. And don't say that was just like a woman of me to say that. Because then you'll just be a beastly copycat.
And he says, I should never dream of calling a kid like you a woman.
Which honestly is a sick burn. When she's like, and don't even think about calling me a woman. He's like, I would never, bitch. You're never going to be a woman.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, ew, you're a beastly, stuck-up, obstinate pig. Bye. And she goes to put on her yellow ring to
Bye,
go
pig.
home. And he does my least favorite thing a character has done in these books. Well, not a character, but one of our kids, one of our I almost said journeyman. That's not what I wanted to say.
One
at
of our
all.
protagonists.
Yeah, so one of our protagonists. This is my least favorite thing one of our protagonists has done, except maybe what Edmund did. But even then, he was bewitched. Diggory was not bewitched here, I don't think. I do not think.
I mean, he hears a humming.
So did she.
He didn't hear the rings humming. She did.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like a call it, whatever.
Calling.
Because, I mean, you know, the duffel pods had to have a little girl read the magic spell. Maybe a magic girl. Maybe Uncle Andrew knew he needed a little girl.
Yeah. That is a possibility.
My little girl's
Right,
magic.
he said I need 2 children. He didn't say I need 2 people. But Diggory grabs Polly's wrist, leaning across with his back against her chest, then keeping her other arm out of the way with his other elbow, leaned forward, picked up the hammer, and struck the golden bell with a light, smart tap. Ew. Ew. Ugh.
Gross.
And then he like not throws her down, but he just like lets her go, and she kind of like falls over. I think from the effort of like struggling against him.
Well, she lets out a cry because it hurt.
Right, and she's about to cry because she's sad, but she's pissed at him. But then her emotion is cut off because the bell has started to ring, and it was nice and sweet when he first rang it, but a couple seconds have passed and it's now growing in volume, and it's growing and growing, and a minute later it's still ringing, and it's too loud for either of them to hear each other if they had been speaking, but she's still too mad at him, so why would she?
Mm-hmm. And then it starts destroying everything.
Right. The
walls start crumbling and cracking, and the masonry around him starts falling, and it's time to go, girl. And Polly's just like, I hope you're satisfied, you ding-dong. And Diggory is not very remorseful, but at this point, well, they don't really know, but Lewis lets us know that the masonry's falling around them, the clouds of dust clear away, and then the bell just... Wait, doesn't it stop?
Yeah, it's still ringing, but there's no sound.
Right.
And as the dust clears, we can see the next chapter ahead of us. Chapter 5.
The deplorable world.
Well, wouldn't it just be great if all these frozen people came to life?
No.
Well, good, because that's not what happens. Instead, the biggest woman stands.
Cool.
And
Just one of them.
She's even taller than they thought. And,
they know immediately that she's the queen.
Yeah.
They're like, this lady's a queen. She's the queen. I'm like, well, they're all wearing crowns, but she's just the only one that's alive, so...
I wish we had somebody else here to do the voice of the queen.
Yeah.
She doesn't seem particularly stoked, but she just hits him with, who woke me up? Who broke the spell?
Right. She looks at the ruined castle. She looks at the kids. He kind of says you can't really tell what her expression is.
Yeah.
Which would make a great politician, a great queen, poker face.
Indifferent.
And she takes massive strides. Also, she's really, really tall. And she grabs Diggory's face and kind of like moves it around, getting a good look at him. And go, "You have no witch's mark." She doesn't say it's a witch's mark, but she's like, "You don't have a mark on you. There's no magic or even royal blood in your veins. Like, who are you to awaken me? You broke my spell." Well, she didn't say my spell, but you broke the spell. And he's like, "Yeah, I rang the bell." Like, what do you mean? You're awake? It was me. She's like, "Whatever. We're in danger. This is starting to collapse. We must go. Right at once."
Let's go, girls.
All right, Shania. Let's go.
She leads them out of the hall and essentially through the ending slew of halls and stairs and courtyards.
Holding their hands, which Polly does not like because she's holding Polly's left hand, which is her yellow ring hand. And now she can't get to her yellow ring to escape. And she never slows or quickens. She just walks at her pace, which the kids have to like kind of hustle to keep up with. But shit's, yeah, like falling around them. They walk through an arch and it falls right behind them. But she doesn't like hustle up to get away from it. The confidence, it's kind of meditative. I hate that
transient. Like she's in a trance.
Yeah, she's just like sleepwalking almost.
And giving them a light
Little
tour while it
bits of-
happens.
Oh yeah, it's a great tour.
Oh, and you'll see along the left is the dungeon.
Or
No.
that is the door to the dungeon, which I assume is just like just a door.
Yeah.
And over here we see the door to the principal torture chambers. And there's the old banquet hall where great-grandfather killed 700 nobles for having rebellious thoughts.
Rebellious
What
thoughts.
type of tour is this? I mean, one I would want to go on, but not led by her. Like, I want a historian to be like, "This is the castle of..." And
The castle. They have thought police in this world.
right? Does she read minds? Like, what the fuck? Well, I guess it was her great-grandfather. Maybe he could read minds. We don't know.
We'll never know. But thankfully, there's not much more hand holding.
No, she lets their hands go because they approach these big black locked doors. And she says some horrid word the kids don't understand and kind of like throws an invisible ball at the doors. And they just dissolve into dust in front of their eyes. And these, in the illustration, big, black, heavy gates with those bars that lie horizontal across. I think there's 3 of them. They're probably big, thick metal or stone bars. Like,
A metal we don't have in this world.
yeah.
You can't even imagine. You wouldn't even understand.
I'm not even gonna tell you what it's called because you wouldn't even know.
If you have to ask, you can't afford it.
And she gives a warning to these fucking kids. She goes, "Remember what you have seen. This is what happened to things and to people who stand in my way." Okay, I am 8 years old. Thank you. On the other side of these doors, they're able to overlook the whole city, and they can see the sun in the sky, which is much bigger than ours. Also, much softer light, and is the source of this red light on the planet, which is a real thing, a red giant. It's a dying star in the final stages of stellar evolution. Fun fact, in about 5 billion years, our own sun will turn into a red giant, expand and engulf the inner planets, including Earth. So,
What's gonna happen to us?
well, the red star is going to bloat to about 100 to 1,000 times wider than it is today. And because the energy spread across such a large area, the surface temp is actually pretty cool. Only about 4,000 to 5,800 degrees Fahrenheit. which is only a little over half as hot as our sun today.
Oh, wait, you said 5 billion years?
5 billion years, yeah. So
Okay, we're good.
we'll see.
We're cool.
Yeah, they're overlooking Charn.
In the ruins of the vast city, you can see temples, towers, palaces, pyramids, bridges, and disastrous-looking shadows in the light of the withered sun. A river that had once flowed through the city, but it's just gray and dusty, and it just seems to be dead.
Dead. Empty.
Silent
Cold.
in every direction.
This place is called Charn. C-H-A-R-N.
Charn.
Charn. It might be Karn. The
Karn.
name Charn suggests Charnel House or Charnel House, a repository for human skeletal remains. Cairn. Irish.
Cairn.
Cairn.
Oh, she's at. Oh, there it is.
Cairn, adapted from the vernacular of command.
Such was
It's
Cairn, the great city, the city of the Scottish, the city of the King of Kings, the wonder of the world, perhaps all worlds. Does your uncle rule any cities as great as this? Oh my God, no! Jadis is played by the nun from
Oh
Dairy
my
Girls. Yes. Notes for Greta. Can you imagine her?
Yes.
Okay, and
She would love it too. She would eat it up.
our giant Irish queen asks Diggory if his uncle ruled any cities as great as this gray hunk of wonder, but doesn't actually give him time to answer because she hasn't finished speaking about how it's silent, but she can still hear the trampling of the feet, the creaking of the wheels, the cracking of the whips, and the groaning of the enslaved people, the thunder of chaos, and the sacrificial drums beating in the temples. This lady sounds like a fucking nutcase.
Yeah, okay, Grandma.
Mm-hmm.
I have stood here when the roar of battle went up from every street, and the river of Charn ran red. All in one moment, one woman blotted it out forever. 3 guesses who blotted it out.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the giant bitch who won't stop talking.
And she finally introduces
usually me.
herself. She introduces herself. Jadis, the last queen, the queen of the world. She doesn't say all that, but she's Jadis, right?
Jadis.
I don't have it quoted that she introduces herself.
I, Jadis, the last queen, but the queen of the world.
Yes.
The children stood silent, shivering in the cold wind.
New character name, ding-a-ling-a-ling. Jadis. Speculation of the origin of this word is the French word jadis, which is, I'm like, okay, that's the same word, long ago. Or the Turkish word kadi, meaning witch. And there's multiple ways to spell it. This one is C-A-D-I, which isn't this, but I also got multiple different pronunciations and things like that. But the fact that her name in Turkish is witch, and also Aslan is Turkish for lion, I feel like that's the route that he would potentially go.
Yeah,
Like,
he's not that clever.
no. He was like, oh, there's a couple things here I can pull from while you're already in there.
Mm-hmm.
Naming characters and stuff. Why not?
Yeah, Jadis. It's not super close to Jinn, but that's more like a witch or a ghoul.
Mm-hmm.
A ghoul. You know what I think this moment calls for? Another long story monologue.
Yes!
Let's do bullet points, though. It's her sister's fault, and it's not hers.
No.
She wanted all the magic, and her sister wouldn't give it to her, so she destroyed the world.
Yeah. Like, you
know.
knew that I knew the deplorable word.
Yeah, gimme.
Gimme.
Give me what I want, or I'll destroy the world. It's,
And because her sister won't give her the magic, won't give her the throne, won't give her any of her wild demands, because she's probably the younger sister, she starts a war. natural thing to do.
Yeah.
Start a war with your own sister in your own land.
Classic.
And she loses the war. She starts the war and loses the war. But she has her nuke in her back pocket. So, this deplorable word is a word that would kill all living things, except the person who said it. Not all living beings, all living things. That's why
Wow.
there's no bugs, there's no moss, there's no trees, nothing. And she learned it in a secret place, and she paid a terrible price to learn it. Honestly, kind of sounds similar to freaking,
A little Horcruxy.
yeah, to gain something, I guess, I don't know, more useful. I don't know what is more useful.
Yeah, maybe just traded her soul for it versus
Right.
like splitting her soul.
So, it's the worst loser ever. Loses the war, her sister's in the throne room, and goes, "Victory!" Jadis says, "Yes, victory, but not yours." And then I spoke the deplorable word. A moment later, I was the only living thing beneath the sun. Jill's like, Jill, wow. Polly is like, did the word do that to the sun too? Right? She has some.
Well, first Diggory says, "But the people," and she's like, "What people?" And Polly's like, all the ordinary people.
The people that filled the streets
Yeah,
of
like
your city. What
The
about all them?
women, the children, the animals, the living things that never did any harm, least of all to you. And the queen is just like, "No, those are my people.
Yeah.
What else were they there for but to do my will?" And doesn't, like, you just, yeah, these are casualties. It's giving Uncle Andrew, except these are, well, humans, I guess, giant humans.
Right. No, the
Instead
children
of guinea
don't-
pigs.
The children don't understand the choices she had to make.
Mm-hmm.
We must be freed from all rules. Ours is a high and lonely destiny.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then Diggory asks, "Was it the deplorable world that made the sun like that?"
Oh, Diggory asked it? I
Yeah.
thought that Polly had asked it.
But you're wrong, it's
Oh,
Diggory.
it was? And he's wrong. And no, the sun had been like that for the hundreds of thousands of years. Long, long time. She's like, "Why? Is your son not like that?" And this Jill is the... Jill? Why do I keep calling her Jill?
Racist.
I think I just really love Jill. She became my Lucy, and we only had her for one book.
Yeah, I mean, it took a while to get used to her after Lucy, and now we've got another one to remember, so it's
Yes.
okay. Diggory, Polly,
They
Diggory,
both got Y's.
Piggery, Polygary.
As close as we're getting. Polly is the one that lets Jadis know that their son is much smaller and gives off much more heat and is yellow. And Jadis goes, "A young planet." She's like, "Let's go. We're going there."
No?
We also learn that, sorry, I skipped past my own note, but after she was the only one left, she did some other magic to put her in a cryo sleep
Yeah,
in this hall of images of ancestors. So that explains the faces, that explains the crowns. Like, this wasn't a hall of cryo sleep living beings, or maybe they kind of are. They cryo sleep them right on their deathbed or something like that. But at the beginning of the door, they're the oldest ancestors, and so they might have been happier, a more jolly kind of people. And as you get closer and closer to Jadis, which is all of the Charn house and things like that, they're more angry, aggressive, dark faces. And they aren't all actively the kings and queens of Charn, but they once were, and that's why they're all done up. It's like a portrait hall, but instead of a portrait, it's your body.
yeah. She just put herself in like a cryo sleep.
Yeah.
That would worth 1,000 years.
Or until the bell rang. And now that the bell has rung, they got to go. They got to go.
It's time to go.
Yeah, she's like, I've got a planet to go conquest. Polly says, you can't just...
Oh, you don't want to go there.
No, like, you don't... It's, like, it's pretty boring, actually. It's kind of boo. You don't want it.
Yeah. She's like, and the queen's just like, what else were you sent for if not to fetch me? Which is valid.
Yeah. I mean,
Why else did they go there?
Yeah, she doesn't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
Why else did they go there?
It's like, oh, you don't want to go to our world. It's not your vibe. It's very dull. It's super boring, and you don't. Let's just not. Let's just run.
Polly says that they wouldn't let her rule in the world because she wants to conquest this world. She's like, I'll make it my vibe. Like, I don't care. I'm going to rule it, so it's going to be whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
Polly says they won't allow it. She's just trying anything at this point. And she being Jadis, says, many great kings thought they could stand against the house of John, but they all fell, and their very names are forgotten. So it was like her family's last name or whatever, like, is her family is Karn or Charn.
Mm-hmm.
The planet might not actually have been named that, but since she's the only one left, that's what she's called it.
Yeah. I can't believe you didn't get the last part of that quote. She says, foolish boy. She says, foolish boy, do you think that I, with all my beauty and my magic, would not have your whole world at my feet before years pass? Prepare your incantations and take me there at once.
Prepare your incantations.
So, obviously, Jadis assumes that his uncle must be a king since he's a very great magician, but we know he's not a king of anywhere, but it doesn't matter. Jadis doesn't believe him, which is fair. She doesn't know that this isn't some grand noble quest. They haven't been sent to fetch her from this realm. She doesn't know that these are two kids who are goofing and randomly ended up there. And because one little boy couldn't keep his hands to himself, they woke up a demon. Well, I think she's a demon.
Yeah, she's definitely an evil witch.
Yeah. She doesn't believe Diggory that his uncle isn't some great magician or king, or, he's a relatively decent magician, I would say, but not a king, not a ruler of worlds. He's just kind of a dude who lives with his sister.
Yeah. She's like, no, that's not true. He saw the shadow of my face in a magic mirror. He had some potent spell to shake your world and send you across this vast gulf. Like, is that not how it was? No, we just told you how it was.
Yeah, we were fucking around and we found out.
And Polly's like, no, that's bosh. And Polly's been trying to interject herself into the conversation, but so far the queen has only been talking to Diggory as if Polly doesn't exist. And now that Polly has called out Bosch, she is pissed. She's like, who the fuck is this little girl? And grabs her hair, which is a very bad sign, and maybe we should get the fuck out.
Mm-hmm. But she lets go of their hands, so they seize the opportunity to put their left hands into their pockets. And they don't even have to put the rings on. But the second they touch them, just
boom, back to the wood between the worlds, rushing up into the warm green light of Chapter 6.
The beginning of Uncle Andrew's troubles.
As they're apparating, as they're swirling on up into the woods, Polly says, let go, let go. Diggory's like, I'm not touching you. What are you talking about?
I'm not even touching you.
And once they become physical in the wood, they see that the witch, as they start calling her, not the queen, is still with them. And Sluis steps aside to explain how the magic of the rings works like a magnet. So if you're touching somebody who's touching a ring, who's touching somebody else, who's touching... you're going to be transported with them. Yes.
It's like a...
Also, though, apparating.
It's a...
like when Hermione apparates them out of the ministry, but Yaxley gets his hand on them and he apparates with them until they get to Grimmauld Place, and then he lets go and they're able to apparate again real quick to get to wherever they get to, and that's why Ron got splinched. Both and. Porky and apparition.
I was going to say ant flu powder.
And flu powder.
Because
Flu
it's,
powder, flu
reusable.
powder.
Because flu powder is single use, which seems really not very cost effective or environmentally friendly. But now the Queen Jadis looks different. She's pale, like so pale that she's not really pretty anymore, and she's can't breathe, and it seems like she's suffocating. And no, she probably is suffocating. She's like screaming for mercy and like saying that the place is killing her.
Well, wish they could just leave her there.
Mm-hmm.
That's how Polly. She's like, all right, let's leave her. Bye.
Yeah.
Like, Diggory like feels sorry. He goes, she looks so pitiful. But okay, we'll leave. And they go to jump into the pool with their green rings on. But Jadis is able to get a hold of Diggory's ear, which how is she? I mean, she's really tall, so I guess she's bigger than them. And they all appear in the study. But they 100% could have switched to their yellow rings while they were in the in-between of the in-between. Because Diggory could have said, she's got me! And then switch! And they could have gone back to the wood between the worlds and left her behind. They could have 100% done it. But they don't.
Nope.
And now she is on Earth. And in Charn, she had been alarming enough. In London, she was terrifying. For one thing, they had not realized till now how very big she was. For some say that there is giantish blood. Giantish, right? I just felt weird on the mouth.
Like
For
you
some
asked me, like I would, like they would know because I'm one of them.
No. For some say there is giantish blood in the royal family of Karn. I'm just gonna keep switching back between Karn and Charn. But even her height was nothing compared with her beauty, her fierceness, and her wildness. She's fierce, mama. Boots house down. She's a tall queen. She's got them heels. She looks 10 times more alive than most of the people one meets in Londonworld. Polly notices all of this, but isn't impressed. She also does notice a similarity between the witch's face and Andrew's face. It seems like Polly is able to notice that, quote, mark that Jadis had referred to, this hunger for knowledge and power above all else that just kind of resides in their face. It's like resting bitch face, but like resting power hungry face.
Oh yeah.
And that's all she really sees. But they're not scared of Andrew anymore now that they're back.
No.
He's a worm compared to her, a rattlesnake.
He is a worthless worm.
He was a worm the whole time, kids.
Well, and then she speaks, not very loud, but something in her voice makes the whole room quiver when she says, "Where is the magician who has called me into this world?"
Madam, I am most honored and highly gratified.
Do the wee voice.
Madam, I am most honored and highly gratified. A most unexpected pleasure.
That's basically what he's doing.
He weeps out, and she says, "Where is the magician, fool?"
Yeah, she doesn't believe that he's the magician. She takes her 2 steps forward,
And 2 steps back.
grabs his face the same way that she did Diggory, and then agrees that he is a magician of a sort. She goes, you learn by books and rules, not inherent magic. Which is true. Like, he is not magical. His godmother was, and he stole her magic.
Mm-hmm.
He stole the Fae's magic. And there was nobody to take revenge because she was the last one.
Thief.
And she says he will be allowed to be her assistant, but she requires a mode of transportation so that she can procure her army to take over the planet. And he says, "Yes, sir. Right. Yes, ma'am. Right away, ma'am. Thank you. Yes."
She's like, "Shut the fuck up. You talk too much." We're in a large city, so give me a chariot or a flying carpet or well-trained dragon or whatever it is you do for royal people or just whatever. And then I want you to take me wherever I can get the fanciest clothes and jewels and people to do all the shit that I want them to, because tomorrow I'm taking over the world.
Right, today's just preparation day. Today's back to school shopping.
Yeah, today, shopping montage. Tomorrow, world domination. I mean, if you don't like your outfit, how are you going to take over the world?
Yeah, you can't take over the world.
Yeah, you can't boots house down if you don't have the boots.
Yeah, wearing the same dress you've worn for the last 1,000 years.
Yeah,
she needs a new dress. Mama needs a new dress.
Boots house down. It's boots house down, not house down boots.
Yes, we gotta get those boots to the house down now.
How can the house go down if there are no boots?
And Mama had no boots.
No boots?
No house. Yes, house. The house ain't down. Because the boots... the boots math got confusing for me. I'll be honest.
Not as confusing as owl math. Anyway, Uncle Andrew is full simping for the witch, and she's just giving off all the rules. Any sign of disobedience, jail.
Yeah, right before he leaves, she goes, "Stop." I don't have the full quote, but it's like, even if you even think about betraying me. Yeah.
She says, "Stop. Do not dream of treachery. My eyes can see through walls and into the minds of men. They will be on wherever you go. At the first sign of disobedience, I will lay such spells on you that anything you sit down on will feel like red-hot iron. And whenever you lie in a bed, there will be invisible blocks of ice at your feet. Now, go."
And now the two kids are, again, alone with the queen, the witch.
Great.
Yeah, and they're like, fuck, she's gonna be so pissed at what happened in the woods because we were gonna leave her behind. But she doesn't bring it up. She doesn't even really acknowledge their existence.
Yeah. Maybe she doesn't remember?
That's what Sluis says. He says, "I think, and Diggory thinks too." Whether this is the Diggory of the now or the Diggory of the future, because Sluis likes to say that Diggory learned much later on that this is how the rings worked or whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I don't care. But yes, that her mind was a sort of witch that cannot remember the quiet place at all. And however often you took her there, and however long you left her there, she would still know nothing about it. So I don't think that she would die there, but she would be powerless. The place is too peaceful for her. There's there's nothing for her to do. There's nothing for her to take over. There's nothing.
Nothing to
then,
control.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a guinea pig. But
The one guinea pig.
yeah. But in this room, she doesn't even take notice of the children because they're completely useless to her. So she probably waits for, I don't know, 30 seconds and then storms out of the room after Uncle Andrew to figure out about that dragon flying carpet.
Yeah, he's taking too long. And that's when Polly takes her cue. She's like, "I'm going home, and I'm going through the tunnel. Bye."
There's like,
Yeah.
we're just going to go home?
Yeah, you can't leave me with her. What are
Like,
you talking about?
we have to figure this out. And Polly's just like, your uncle started this, so he can figure it out. Bye.
Fucking gone. Diggory says, "Please, can you come back to help? Like, I need your help." And Polly goes, "Then you ought to say you're sorry for being such a brute back on Charn." "What did I do?" That wasn't a direct quote from Polly, I don't think.
Yeah, she wants him to apologize for hurting her wrist and for ringing the bell. And he does apologize, but I need to just mention once again that Polly is the one who took the ring from Uncle Andrew. He tried to warn her and to prevent all this. So yeah, it is fair for her to be upset, but it's not his fault.
No, she's really sassy with it.
Mm-hmm.
Only nearly screwed my wrist off. Only struck the bell. Only turned back in the woods so that she had time to catch up and hold it. Nuh-uh. That's all. That's all. So sassy.
Mm-hmm.
But then Diggory goes, "But please, please, can you come back? I can't she can't be in this house. What if she walks in on my mom? Like, she's gonna scare her to death.
Yeah.
And Polly softens because she understands how much his mom means to her, and they've had a couple weeks of adventures, I'm sure, already in that
His
hot,
mom
wet
means
summer.
to him.
Means to him, yes. How much his mom means to him. Not to her. She doesn't...
Or just, she probably also has a mom.
Yeah. And she wouldn't want her mom to be sick and dying, let alone have Jadis be there.
Mm-hmm. Or at least can have compassion, empathy that you would want them to have time to rest. So thankfully she doesn't just go home and give up.
But she does go home. She says, but I'll come back later if I can, if my parents let me. But I've been out for quite a while, so we'll see. And then we jump to our first time. We jump characters to Andrew. He takes a pit stop in his bedroom to shotgun like 2 glasses of wine or whatever. And he puts on his best suit. Now he's all like feeling himself, and he's not so scared of Jadis anymore, but he does remember how pretty she was. He's like, that hot lady upstairs might fall in love with me. But he was, in any case, as vain as a peacock. That's why he had become a magician. And he's all ready. He's got his fucking best jacket on that he only wears for weddings and funerals, his best top hat. He's ready to go out on the town. Goes downstairs into the living room to meet his sister, Aunt Letty, who's sitting on top of a mattress repairing it. New character, and I like Letty minus some sentence she says here shortly, but he asks her, oh, I gotta give the name origin. I gave a whole new character, ding-a-ling-a-ling. The name Letitia is a feminine name of Latin origin that means joy or gladness. It comes from the Roman goddess Letitia, who was the goddess of celebration and mirth and symbolized happiness, prosperity, and abundance. Happy name. I like it. Andrew comes down in his Sunday best, asking her for money. Again, apparently. As a full-time magician, he doesn't really make much money. And Letty has been holding them both afloat for 30 years. And now her 6th sister is living with them, and she's taking care of her as well. She's 100% the oldest, and Andrew's probably the baby.
Oh, yeah.
Because Letty is very much giving eldest sister, or at least older sister, energy here. But I do love it. She's like, no, I already bought you all your fucking cigars and brandy. He's like, oh, but I'm entertaining. I'm going to be entertaining a very, very important guest. She's like, nobody's been here all day. I'm fixing this mattress, and I'm feeding my sister. That's what's happening today. I'm not giving you money to go buy whatever crap you want to buy for this person that doesn't exist.
And then the door flings open. Aunt Letty flips around and sees an enormous woman splendidly dressed with bare arms, flashing eyes, standing in the doorway. And, but it was the witch.
Yes, she's here downstairs, opening the door onto chapter 7. What happened at the front door? And Aunt Letty calls her a shameless hussy. You do not need to slut shame her because she's got some bare arms and she is an attractive woman. It was very unnecessary, Letty. I thought your name meant joy, happiness, prosperity, and abundance. Celebration. Come on. Everybody is different. Plus, she is a queen. And Jadis knows that this is an insult, even though she might not know what it is. She can tell. So she raises her arm and says that same awful door-dissolving word, throws her little magic invisible ball at Letty, and nothing happens. Except that Letty thinks that she's drunk. and can't speak anymore.
Jadis is not super phased by this, I guess. I mean, she was expecting magic, but at least she's still big, so there's always that.
Yeah, just use her physical aggression, and she throws Letty, an old woman, across the room.
Yeah, catches her by the neck.
Yeah, like, I hope that she approached Jadis during this conversation, and then she was thrown and landed on the mattress, like she was previously repairing, and she doesn't.
Fine.
And then it says that while Letty is in the air, the housemaid, who was having an extraordinary day or whatever, she's having a very interesting day, goes, "The Handsoms arrived!" And the Queen and Andrew go out, loose in London.
Okay, and they leave, and then
She did land on the mattress.
Cool.
Praise Aslan. She did.
right, because if she had fallen on the bare boards or even the carpet, all of her bones would have been broken. So good.
She goes, "Sarah, go to the police station and report there's a dangerous woman loose in London." We get Sarah. I mean, I don't know. I didn't do a name origin for Sarah.
Because she's loose in London. Nobody knows where she's going to. She's loose in London. No one knows the damage they're gonna do.
Sarah's day has been incredible.
What a day! What a day for Sarah.
She got to go pick up a handsome. She assumed for nobody, and then this crazy, hot, strong lady appeared out of nowhere, and now she's going to the police station. Like, she has probably had such a boring job. She's living with she's a live-in maid, probably housemaid. I assumed it was a live-in maid, but she hangs around two old people all day, one of whom stays in the attic all day doing his magic stuff. So she just cleans and hangs out with Letty. And the most interesting thing up until this point was probably Diggory coming to live with them.
And now she just saw her boss get chucked through the air by her neck.
Yeah, like, what is happening? What is going on? And Diggory has no idea how to find the witch. He wants to go out, but he doesn't have any money. He can't get on the bus. He doesn't know what to do.
So they have lunch.
Yeah. And he hypothesizes if he can touch her and slip on the yellow ring, perhaps he can get them back to the wood between the worlds, and maybe she'll be weakened again. But also, maybe she was only weakened the first time because she was pulled from her own world, which is honestly a good thought. I'm surprised that he's really thinking on everything.
At least these kids know about magic.
Yeah. And so he's just waiting. He decides to just wait. He sits at the window and he's waiting. And while he waits, we find out what's happening in the plumber house.
I wonder what Polly is doing.
Polly's parents are mad at her because she kind of tried to tell the truth, but also not tell the whole truth.
And her socks are wet.
And her socks are wet. They're like, "Why are your socks wet?" She's like, "Well, I was in
Summertime.
a puddle." And they're like, "Well, where?" And she's like, "In a wood." "Why do you say that?" Because they're like, "Well, what wood? Where did you go?" She's like, "Well, I don't remember." So you went somewhere that you don't know, that you don't remember, with a boy that just got here a little bit ago. And your socks are wet. I think you're gonna have to go upstairs. She gets sent to her room. She eats dinner with all the good bits taken out, and she gets sent to her room for 2 hours. Which apparently was a common punishment back in the day.
I'm like, what is all the nice
all
parts?
The good stuff. It would have been so easy for her to just say that they were playing in puddles in the city. It's a wet, rainy summer.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Polly.
It was
Your
an
last name is
accident.
Plumber. Say you were fixing a sink.
I mean, she's honest, though.
It's really
It's
sweet. She
giving-
doesn't want to lie to them,
It's giving Lucy.
but she knows that if she tells them the whole truth, they'll think that she's lying to them.
Or that she's
So she's kind of smarter than Lucy because she doesn't say, "We went to this magical world and blah 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 blah, and I came back exactly when I left, and it's in a wardrobe. Come look." She threads the needle. She might take my crown. Yet, Polly, in the battle royale of favorite characters.
Well, cut to lovely grapes.
Grapes, yes. A fruit lady shows up, or some friend of the family shows up with some lovely grapes. And, what lovely grapes. I'm sure if anything could do her good, these would. But poor dear little Maybelle, I'm afraid it would need fruit from the land of youth to help her now. Nothing in this world will do much. What? What? Also, we finally learn his mother's name is Maybelle, which is a girl's name of Latin origin that comes from the words amabilis and amabel, which means lovable or dear. Like amiable.
That's
She's
cute.
just a sweet lady. Yeah, little Maybelle, so definitely older sister, at least to her.
So sweet, Joy.
Strong man. Yeah, bleh. I mean, but I feel like so many boys' names mean that. I mean, my name means strong little warrior or some shit. Oh, boo.
Yeah.
Boo
Well,
on that name.
up until a few days ago, Diggory probably wouldn't have thought anything about the whole other world thing, or thought it just would have been grown-ups talking about nonsense. But now he knows that there are other worlds, and because he's been in one, and so that means that the land of youth could be somewhere, and there could be a fruit there that could cure his mother. And the way that Sluis describes his feeling really sucks. He says, "You know how it feels if you begin to hope for something that you want desperately. You almost fight against the hope because it's too good to be true, and because you've been so disappointed." And Diggory's struggling really hard to throttle his hope because it really very easily could possibly be true. He has a magic ring. He could fix this.
And his rabbit hole at least helps time fly by while he's waiting. And just as he's about to put on his yellow ring, he's decided he's going to do it, and he's going to commit to the next 10 years or however long it's going to take, and he's going to jump in every single pool and find that fucking fruit. He hears a fire truck and notices she's here.
What do you think the fire truck sounded like?
I think it was probably just like...
That's funny because I thought it was going to be more of like a fire.
It's probably just the same horn, right?
Hey everybody, come outside, or maybe just stay inside. But whatever you do, don't stay inside if you're in the place that's on fire.
Not only is Jadis here, she's riding on the roof of a hansom, which is a 2-person carriage, like a fucking badass. She's got the reins of the horse. She is being a little rude. She's whipping the horse ruthlessly, or whipping at it to get it to run real fast or whatever. But
what do they call that in Death Proof? Like Master and Commander, when they're on the
I don't know.
like the hood of the. I don't know. I think I saw that movie once.
But it does look pretty badass in the illustration. And I did look up. I was like, why do they keep calling it a hansom? What is that? And it's called that, named after the creator. Joseph Hansom lived 1803 to 1882, an architect who, I guess, promoted their use. He didn't design them, but promoted them heavily, and he was an architect, so...
So like an Elon Musk situation?
Literally, yeah.
Wow, that's...
They've always been there. They've always been there. There is that earlier mention of Charn having giant blood earlier in the book, and now she's being seen riding atop, horse and carriage. And I know I've been bringing up Harry Potter a lot, but it does remind me of Madame Maxine with the horse and carriage, like when they fly into Hogwarts. And
They
she
only
gets up.
drink single malt whiskey.
Could be a coincidence.
Hagrid.
Agreed.
But of
Oh,
course they are lying.
When she smacks the
Fucking
ceiling thing.
me so hard.
It's so incredible.
As someone who's waited their entire life to feel represented by a character, god damn it if Madame Maxine wasn't the closest I've ever been.
Oh, limp. And she comes riding in quick, like a bat out of hell. And she's freaking. She's going. She's not saying anything, but she's riding it. Tokyo drifts into the front of the house, and the hansom cart crashes into pieces on the lamppost. But she easily jumps off of it and onto the horse because she's super spry. This reminds me of a little Chitty Chitty Bang Bang fun fact. For those of you who don't know, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is one of my all-time favorite movies. And in doing random fun fact research for many different things, I read a story about, I'm not going to give a synopsis of the film. If you don't know what it is, go watch it. It's 2.5 hours of your time, or maybe 3. It's quite long, but there is an intermission, so don't worry. There's time to pause and go to the bathroom and refill your popcorn bucket. In the film, the child catcher, there's a child catcher, was played by a ballet dancer, Sir Robert Helpman. And while filming one of the scenes, he is driving a horse and carriage out of a village. Tokyo drifts around a corner, and the carriage tipped over. But Dick Van Dyke recalls that Helpman just kind of swung out of the carriage, skipped across the crashing vehicle, jumped off the edge, landed on his feet, and was ready for the fucking next shot after they got the new carriage.
Damn.
Unharmed. Van Dyke later commented that he had never seen anything as graceful in his life. Helpman was 59 years old at the time of the film's release, so he was probably 58.
Like in the next Karate Kid when Hilary Swank just jumps on the hood of the car.
Yeah.
Fucking sick. Also, that's a chitty fun fact, chitty fun fact, chitty fun fact, chitty fun fact. Sorry, I spiked it at the end.
Chitty chitty fun fact, chitty chitty fun fact, we love you. And the chitty chitty fun facts, chitty chitty fun facts, what we'll do, we'll learn so many things. Me, our fine, fun fact-filled friend.
That is a mouthful.
Fine, fun fact-filled friend. And if you can't say it, you can't be one.
Anyway, the old gentleman tips over, and unlike the child catcher in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, he has to be helped by several people to get him out. He is not a graceful person.
Yes, there's, well, not in that handsome, because that one broke into bits, but two more handsomes pull up, and yeah, an old man gets out and falls. And
You broken my hands.
Diggory thinks it might have been Uncle Andrew, but he couldn't quite see, and now there's a crowd forming. 3 policemen arrive, followed by 20 onlookers watching the excitement of the usually boring, wet summer. And the witch settles herself astride the horse and leaned forward, whispering things in its ear. They must have been things meant not to quiet it, but to madden it. It was on its hind legs again in the moment, and its neigh was like a scream. So she may still have some magic, maybe just not invisible dust machine balls.
Hang on, do you mind if I do an impression of what the horse sounded like really quick?
Sure. That's a great horse scream. Appreciate it. Yeah, a shop owner comes out.
Oi, policeman! That's her! She stole hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of merchandise from me. She gave me a black eye and boot.
She's got like a pearl necklace. She's probably got hella rings on. She's got a fresh new dress. She had her pretty lady moment. She's shopping bags in all her arms.
Big mistake. Huge. She's not worried, though.
No, she's in the illustration. She's smiling. She's having the time of her life, and this is the only moment where I like this character. Like,
She's
in a
playing with her
true way.
toys.
Yeah, she did punch this guy in the face and stuff, but
Diggory is just priming himself to jump at her and grab onto her so he can get her the fuck out of there. Because he knows none of these fools are going to be able to deal with it.
and he doesn't know that her invisible magic doesn't work. He wasn't there for that interaction, so
He's so brave.
When she was gone, he's like, she could be destroying the Capitol. Like, I don't know what she could be doing. So he thinks she could have all of her magical powers. And yeah, it's still like, I need to get there. I need to get there. But the crowd is growing very thick. And there's one little spot where there's like, he would have to run behind the horse between the bars in front of his house. And we get a step aside that even he's not, he's well aware that that's a very dangerous thing to do, but it seems to be the only spot he could access the queen without going through the crowd, and then she might see him.
It's like, when you're trying to get onto a merry-go-round at the park, you got to do it at the right time, otherwise...
Double Dutch. Jump in, Corbin Blue. You got to push it to the limit, cause you
actually haven't seen that.
in it to win it, oh yeah. Someone tells the policeman that Andrew put her up to it, and the cops start like questioning him after they pull his squished top hat off from his head because he fell on it. I'm not really sure what happened. Maybe she bopped him on the head. The cab driver of the cab that she stole comes up and is like, you need to let me in. Like, this situation is more dangerous than you think, because that was my father's war horse. He's not a trained carriage horse, which are probably quite docile, calm, ready to be around people. This is a war horse, and she's got it all riled up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, the horse that she picked is the son of an officer's war horse. She could probably, like, sense something about it. And so the guy, he's walking up, and he says, Strawberry. That's a good boy, Strawberry. His name's Strawberry. A war horse named Strawberry.
He's not a war horse. He's just a little strawberry.
And for the first time since she left the house in all of this hullabaloo, she speaks. Dog, unhand our royal charger. We are the Empress Jadis. Is that like the royal we? That's a thing, right?
I believe it's the royal we. I mean, we haven't gotten Jadis's pronouns, but I'm gonna go ahead. It's just like a
we, her. Me too.
We, him.
And that's where we end the chapter and the episode. That's where he ends the chapter with Dog unhand our royal charger. We are Empress Jadis.
The one thing I will say about the way he ends this chapter, he actually did it right. He didn't tease you. There's no meal or promise of a meal. He actually, like, instead of teasing that it is a cliffhanger, he gave you a cliffhanger. So, I mean, it took a while to get me here. I'm gonna take my time, but Lewis finally learned to write, and that fucking blew my mind.
I am loving this book so far, and I am more excited for next episode when we really get into the meat and potatoes of the book. But this was such a fun build-up episode. It was still chock full of lore, not Narnian lore, but Charn and Jadis, and we got some fun Londonworld. And the nostalgia for this book is heavy because I don't know if we did discuss it at the beginning. I don't remember anymore, but in my book series, this is the first book. Mine is in a different publication order, so I always read The Magician's Nephew first. And as most people know, when you're reading a book series from beginning to end, sometimes you lose steam. And more often than not, when you restart the series, you restart it. You don't pick it up at book 4. And so I've I've also read this book quite a few times. So the nostalgia has been great. I love Karn. I love world jumping. That's so fun.
Is Karn the most beautiful thing you can imagine? It's Karn. I remember more happening before this point. I thought we would be farther into the story, which is interesting. He really took his time letting us go through everything up until this point, which is annoying for the sake of the podcast. But it is very interesting for the story, because I feel like in a lot of other stories he might have like rushed us farther ahead, but thinking about like I do know how this story goes and how it ends and everything that like needs to be accomplished. So
Right. Coming from that perspective, we haven't really got that far.
mm-mm.
But in the grand scheme of things, at chapter 3, chapter 1, Polly disappears with magic. But yeah, coming from knowing the whole story, definitely a bit slow.
I was thinking that he spends a lot of time explaining things, and I wonder if he's gonna like rush through other like sections of the story later that might have been more interesting because he spent so much time
Stepping aside and explaining things instead of integrating it into teaching the characters as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We had 3 queer points.
3 queer points. I thought that we were going to get like 5. I felt like there was a lot, but it was just quite a few near the beginning. And that is where we end our episode. Thank you so much for listening to The Lobster and His Boy with me, Wyatt the Boy.
And me, Clem, the lobster.
If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach us at lobsterandhisboy@gmail.com. No capitals, no spaces, no special characters. And we are also on TikTok and Instagram at lobsterandhisboy. Again, no capitals, no spaces, and no special characters.
Thanks for listening. We appreciate you, and it's nice to be in Narnia with you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
There once was a boy in Londonworld who came upon a neighbor girl, and he said, "Hey girl, I'm kind of sad. My mom is sick and I don't have my dad, so